Today we're going to continue our digital color series in Krita. We're going to go over these 3 dockers to pick colors and choose what we want, kind of fine tune them. And we're also going to learn how to create our own palettes once we get colors we like. This is going to be important because when you do a lot of coloring, especially if you're doing character work or specific branding or things like that, you want the colors to be the same across the board as your base, or at least your main reference point. So we want to make sure that we get those correct. Alright, so we're going to start with the Artistic Color Selector. So if you don't know where that is, go to Settings, Dockers, and then go to Artistic Color Selector. And these are all going to be in alphabetical order. So just keep that in mind. If you don't know where it is, just go by alphabetical order. We have the basic color wheel here. So we can change the color that we want. So we have the red, oranges, yellows, green, like a yellow green, a blue green, a more of a cyan, kind of more of a, not indigo. This is blue. I think this is more indigo, then violet, then pink, then like magenta, and back to red. And this is just a very basic color wheel. Most classes, like art classes, whether college or high school, will usually like teach the basics of this. Like here's your flat color. And the more to the center you go, the lighter it becomes. And over here is going to be your value bar. Alright, so for the select this box up here, we have some settings we can mess with. We have the color space we can change. We can force the gamut mask or just show the shapes. We can, let's see if I do that here. I think this is, I don't remember what the Y stands for, but hue saturation value is HSV, hue saturation lightness, and hue saturation intensity. I always forget what the Y stands for, so again, forgive me. But you can change the values based on that. You can see right away that they change, which is nice. We also have the show numbered scale. So this is going to be like your values. You can see this is like a 0% lightness, dark, you know, it just changes. But it is showing you that with the grayscale and with the color, which is very nice to have. And if you click on this icon here, we can change the number of boxes that appear. So if we want just like maybe 5, we don't need drastic value shifts, we can do that. But if we want a larger selection for whatever reason, we can actually split that up. So now we can have a larger range of color values. We can do the same for the wheel here. We can just increase, and here we can increase the saturation. So if you have very specific color needs or you like to kind of pick from a very specific color wheel, this would be a great option. This actually helps to see as well the values, or I'm sorry, the hues of the colors. So like we have green here, but you can see this is becoming more yellow, right, in this range, and this is becoming more blue in this range. And that kind of helps you identify when a green is more yellow and when a green is more blue. So it's really nice to just get used to how this color may look, or the colors may look depending on which range they're heading towards. So we're doing zombies, so we're just going to pick a yellowish green. This is actually quite a lot of color here. I don't really, well, guess I would need a lot. There we go. I don't need anything too complex for this. I just want a nice flat color. So I'm going to make a new layer for this tutorial. So you want to change any of these colors, like if you get this screen and you see it on your color wheel, you want to change it to something different, you can. Notice how my color wheel over here is still in CMYK mode, so it actually does affect what I can and cannot do. This bar here is kind of showing where my cursor is going. I have all white, but notice I don't have a full green. It's like not quite up where it could be. You can also see this little circle. It's kind of following along with my mouse as I pick in the color wheel, which is pretty cool. All right, so now that we have that, we're just gonna pick this. I'm gonna make this a little bit lighter, maybe a little bit more yellow. That works. I'm just gonna, oh, it might be a little too yellow. Let's That works. Okay. We have a nice zombie green. I'm not going to do anything too crazy. I'm just going to swatch it to make sure I like it. And then once I do, I'm going to make my color swatches up here. So I want a brain pink. So I'm going to just it's kind of more of a coral red. Being fancy with my naming here. I want it a little bit more in the pink range. I think that works. And then, let's see, we want gray for a gravestone, so we go just to the white. We'd probably add a little bit of a blue hue if we wanted to. It's a little too purple. Maybe something like that would work for gravestones. Let's take the saturation down. Alright, so that's enough for our colors. We don't need to go too crazy for this. We just want to get something down so we can start picking some colors. Alright, so we have used the artistic color selector to pick a couple colors that we like using the color wheel. So we're going to close this. Alright, so next we're going to go over the digital color mixer. So we're going to settings, Dockers, and digital color mixer. So this is a little bit different, and you may not want anything this like color specific. It's a little weird to get used to. So I dropped our green. We want it to have a little bit more yellow or orange. So we want to go to our yellow and add a little bit more. So we can click on that. We want to add more blue, we can add that. Or we can take that color, let's see. We want to make it a little darker, do that. More orange, make it darker again. It's just like specifying different color inputs here, or mathematically, I guess, from the tech standpoint. Or you can just add more black to it and get a different color. Add more white, get a lighter color. You can just kind of mix the color this way. I haven't used it personally, like in an official way, but if you like to be very specific with your colors and just see how you can add like maybe a little bit more blue. So if we go and put these all to the top, it's all the color that we just eye dropped. But we can slightly add a little bit more blue. And now we have more of a bluish green color. Not sure what you would call it, kind of like a swampy color. You can add even more blue, get more of a blue, like a, not turquoise, but somewhere along those lines. Or we can add a little bit more yellow, make it a little bit more muddy. Or we can add a little bit more red and make it a little bit more of a warmer green. And then go back. So if you like to just kind of play around with the color and just ever so slightly add different colors to it to mix, kind of like if you were using real paint, this would be a really good option for you. So I'm actually done with the gravestone color here because it's a little too blue for me. I actually don't want that. So I'm actually gonna add a little bit more white and a little bit more black. So first I'm gonna add the black. I'm gonna actually take out some of the blue. I'm gonna add black back in. I'm gonna take some green and red out. Click on the green, click on the red. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. But we have another gravestone color we can use using the digital colors mixer. So what I did, I just went in, I made sure to put my gradient at the bottom to black here, because I had that different color. And I had the value showing down here between them. And then I clicked on that to use as my new base. And I just went and modified the white and the black and add a little bit of color in so it wasn't like completely desaturated. It's like kind of there, it's just barely. That's how you can use the digital colors mixer to get some really specific color or add in maybe more blue to your green or more yellow to your green if you're not liking where you picked the original color. All right, and the last tool that we were looking at was the small color selector. This is just very basic, nothing crazy going on here. Just pick in your color. If you just like to have something to change the value and the hue here, you can actually make this a little bit bigger. So maybe you want it to be, I'm gonna ruin my UI here for a minute. Can I add it here? No. Maybe you're working and you just want this color bar up here at all times. Maybe you're doing a lot of color work and this makes it easier for you. You can absolutely do that. You put it wherever you want, honestly. You want to put it on the side here for your toolbar, you can. Oh, looks like I have more. There it goes. So you can add it there. If you just want something quick, you don't want to use the color wheel and you just want to get some colors down, you can absolutely do that. It's just, again, small color selector, nothing crazy, nothing complex, just a quick bar to have. All right, so that's it for those color selectors that kind of will help you fine tune the colors that you've picked. And now that we have a couple here, we want to save them. So whenever I create any of these zombie type illustrations, I can go and say I want to use my zombie color palette as my base for everything going forward. So we're gonna go to settings, go to Dockers, and we're gonna go to palette. I'm gonna drag this out here. All right, so this is a custom color palette I made just of grayscale tones for my comic. You can see when I click on one, I have a name for each color and what it's for, which is very, very helpful for me to keep it consistent across the work. Now we want to make a new one. Now, before we get into making a new one, I want to show you all the ones that they have already. Different swatches available, different palettes. They have pixel, they have markers. So I'm not sure what markers specifically these are referring to, but it's called markers. We have gradient, which is pretty nice. A default color, concept cookie, which is cool. Then we have web, swatches, all that good stuff. But we want to make our own. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down to that box and we're gonna hit this plus icon. We're gonna make our new palette and we're just gonna name it Zombie. If you're doing this for something else, feel free to name it something else. You can actually do a GIMP palette if you want, but I don't use that really, so we're gonna stick to Krita. Now, before we hit OK, you can save the palette in current document, so it will always be within this document. So when you open it up and you open up the palette, it's specifically for this document, or you can just leave it as a universal palette. I'm not going to check that off. I'm going to leave it as a universal palette so I can always reference it regardless of what document I'm using. Next, we're going to eyedrop the color green. We're going to click on the empty box. You can see right off the bat I have my green color that I eyedropped. I have a color down here. It says color 1. A little asterisk has appeared next to the word zombie. And what that is telling us is we added and made changes to our palette, but we have not saved it. So before I go and do anything else, I want to save this. Now, if you right click on that, I can edit that swatch or remove the swatch. I'm going to edit this. I'm going to change the color name to Zombie Skin Base. And I'm going to leave that alone. Now, if I wanted to modify this a little bit, this is still a CMYK. I could say I want this to be a little bit more green and just a smidge more green and hit OK. I'm just going to cancel that because I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to check off spot color because it's not a spot color. And the swatch ID is just the number within the row. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to do an eyedrop for the pink for the brain. I'm going to click on that swatch again. And you can see here, I have 1 and I have 2. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yada, yada, yada. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here. I'm going to right click, edit swatch, and I'm going to say brain base. So now the green is the zombie skin base and the pink is the brain base. I'm going to save that again. Now we have some colors saved. I'm going to quick save my gravestone ones and then we'll go and start modifying this a little bit further. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I have added my 2 gravestone colors. Now I want to modify this because honestly this is way too many color swatches for me and I don't need that many for this. As time goes on I may want to fill it up some more, but for the sake of this tutorial I want to keep it simple. We're going to click on this right here, this little grid, and what you can see is what we've already kind of done. We've already named our palette Zombie. We have number or columns of swatches, which is 16. So if we count all of these columns, that's 16. I don't want that many. I'm just going to actually just put 8 in. I think that's, actually we can just do 5. And number of rows, we can just cut that down to 10, I think. So that's going to give us 50 color swatches to fill in. So if we hit OK, I now have a much cleaner color swatch group. I probably could add more columns and remove some rows, so I'm just going to do that. Actually turn this to 5 and then this to 8. There we go. So now we have modified this to make it easier to look at, not so many swatches to fill in. Now obviously if we want to add more, you can add more. So if as time goes on, if your palette is going to be growing in color, that's totally okay. Alright, so we want to save this again, so you can see that little asterisk popped up. So we want to add a swatch group. So let's say we have zombie parts. So the eyeball, the teeth, the bones, maybe I want to make sure that's separate from the zombie skin colors. Rows of swatches in this group. I don't need that many. Goodness no, I can just put one. Okay, so now I have zombie group selected. I have only one row, but it's gonna have 8 columns. I'm gonna hit OK. Now what you can see is I have a separate group for just zombie part colors. So I can actually click and drag that pink and put it here. If I want to make the color for the teeth, put that here. I drop that, I'm gonna put that there. Let's see the tongue. Put this here. There. I'm not gonna name them for that right now, but you can see that now I have specific colors in this group. That way it's just easier to look at and find things. So you're not like, okay, what was this color for again? That's all like disorganized. It's just not good. You can actually see from my Pumpkin Prince palette, none of this is organized and it doesn't look good. Right off the bat, I'm gonna have to fix this because I can't tell which color goes with each character, or grayscale tone goes with which character and for what parts and stuff like that. I'd want to go back and reorganize this and add a swatch group and put Prince. I only want one row. I don't need more than that. And I would do the same for False Spirit. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. So now I have this all organized. If I want, I can go back and change the number of rows in the overall palette here. There we go. So maybe I just got rid of colors. That's fine. Maybe you don't want all the colors to be, like maybe background colors you want here. Like just easy to grab swatches, so you can do that. All right, I'm not gonna save that. So we're just gonna go back to our zombie and leave that one alone. All right, so now that we have this all organized, as you can see, if you have a color selected and you're clicking on empty spots, you're gonna accidentally add these colors. You can just right click and remove the swatches. So that way, if you are working and you accidentally click an empty box, you can just get rid of it. If you want to trash one of the swatches, you can just use a trash icon as well. If you want to lock it, you can, so you can't accidentally add any colors, which is nice. You can unlock it there. All right, so now we have that. So if you want to share your color swatches, you can actually import and export them. So if you go to export current palette, you can just go wherever you save your files and just save this as a Krita color palette. And whoever is using Krita can import that into their file or their workspace and use the same color palette as you. And that's really helpful if you're doing collaborative work for things like comics, or maybe you just need help doing flats for color, or you just want to share your palette with other people so that they can use it for their own work, like skin tones, environment colors, things like that. Now the sad thing here, if you don't like your palette, you want to rid it forever, you can trash it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it alone. If you want to add a custom tag, you can do that. So you can say custom palettes. Right click on that, add to the custom tag. So you can go to custom and you can organize your palettes by ones you yourself had made, or if you have a specific product line like stickers, or I'm sorry, not stickers. Let's say you do landscaping cards or something like that, and you want to only use your landscaping palettes. You can have one for forest, underwater themes, desert themes, mountains, stuff like that. So you can organize it by environment palettes. So you can name it or give it a tag that says environment, and then you can look at all the palettes that you have for environments. Makes it a little easier for your work when you're starting something new. You don't know where to start with the color, or you already have a baseline of where you should be starting to make things consistent for whatever it is you're doing. And that is it for this video in terms of picking your colors and making sure to save them so you can always access them later. All right, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. I will do my best to answer them. The next video, we're going to actually go through and actually lay the color down for the flats. I want to show you a couple of methods on how to actually do that easily, quickly, and without too much work. That doesn't require you to actually fill things in or color it manually. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.